God damn it, Ubisoft, you've done it again. If making boring doll video game slop was a job, you'd most likely work at this company. And Skull and Bones is practically no different, other than the fact that this is the first quote-unquote quadruple A game. I don't give a shit if this is the first quintuple A game. Skull and Bones is simply ass. And I feel like a lot of people were upset at how the game was marketed, because if you just take a quick glance, this seems like a pirate MMORPG. And if you're one of these people currently, then let me be the bearer of bad news and just rip this band-aid clean off. It is the farthest thing from that. Honestly, the best way I could describe Skull and Bones is rather than a pirate MMORPG, it's more of a poorly done pirate ship MMORPG. And that little distinction speaks volumes to its gameplay, because besides certain features of the game like being able to walk around to buy provisions, to craft, etc., you really don't need the pirate aspect of Skull and Bones. You're practically just the ship. Like, you know how in games like War Thunder, World of Tanks, and World of Warships, you don't really have a character per se, you're just the ship or the tank or the plane you control? This game is a lot like that. Obviously not a one-to-one comparison, especially when you break down the games, but this highlights the main issue with Skull and Bones, and that is how one-dimensional the gameplay really feels for what they were going for. You see, in most MMORPGs, you're going to pour hundreds, if not thousands of hours to grind for certain things. And actually, this is one of the reasons why I don't like this genre, mainly because I don't have the time to invest into something like that. But do you know the main reason why many people play MMORPGs? Well, besides collecting shit that your friends don't have for bragging rights and also looking absolutely fucking cool, ignoring those two things, it's mainly for the gameplay and the world. How alive does the server feel? Is the gameplay fun? And most of all, is it replayable? And for Skull and Bones, the answer to these questions is no. I mean, you can argue that the ship combat is a little fun at first, but since it lacks basic depth like being able to extensively control your character throughout the whole game, having any meaningful melee combat so you could board other people's ship by gun or sword point, maybe adding some little quirky things like being able to execute somebody by forcing them to walk the plank, and this is just basic shit I'm naming off that you would expect in a game like this. It just lacks so much to the point where I have a sneaky suspicion, well, not really sneaky at this point, that this is going to kill the player base, which in turn will obviously kill the liveliness of the world. And if you don't believe me when I say that the lack of depth in the gameplay is going to kill the player base, then look no further than a game that just came out this month. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, which by the way I made a video on, go check it out. As of making this video, they only have a little over 1,500 players out of 13,459 who bought this game. That is over 85% of the player base gone. And I'm not a gambling man, but if I had to bet, I would say that Skull and Bones will most likely meet this fate. I hope not, but I'm not holding my breath either. And you know what's the real sad part about all this? Not only can I not recommend you Skull and Bones, but on top of that, I would actually recommend another Ubisoft game that came out 10 years ago over this, aka Assassin's Creed Black Flag. The gameplay is for the most part either similar or better, alongside a more enjoyable, explorable world. And let's say you would much rather play with friends, well, at that point I would easily recommend you Sea of Thieves. Because the ugly truth is that this game doesn't do enough to separate itself from its competition or its predecessor. All in all, this is just sad and pathetic from Ubisoft, and I wouldn't play this game if it was a single A, double A, triple A, or obviously a quadruple A product. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, consider liking, subscribing, and comment below what I should do next. I'll do animes, shows, movies, games, whatever. But again, thank you so much for watching.